So I'd like to call to order the Dartmouth Board of Public Works for its meeting of January 23rd, 2025. We'll have a roll. First of all, this meeting is being recorded. And we are meeting remotely. Roll call. The chair, Mr. Almy, is here. Mr. Alves?
Here.
Mr. LaBelle?
Here.
All right, all present, all board members are present. First item on the agenda is to approve and accept the warrants for the bills payable ending December 23rd, 30th, and January 6th, 13, and 21. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, accept the warrants for the bills payable
Motion.
period ending December 23rd, 30 of 2024, January 6th, 13, and 21 of 2025.
I have a motion by Mr. LaBelle. Mr. Alves, do you second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Alves. All in favor, Mr. LaBelle?
Aye.
Mr. Alves?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Item is approved. Next item is to approve and accept payrolls. Do I have a motion?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve and accept the payrolls for the weeks ending December 28, 2024, and January 4, 11, and 18, and 25 of 2025.
I have a motion by Mr. LaBelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Alves. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Alves, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. But item is approved. The next item on the agenda is to approve and accept minutes for the following meeting dates. And I'm going to go through these individually because we have different voting on them. The first is October 24th, 2024. Mr. Almy and Mr. Alves were both present. Mr. Alves, have you had a chance to review the minutes?
I have no comments.
The chair has no comments. Motion to approve. Mr. Alves?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes dated October 24th, 2024.
And the chair seconds. Mr. Alves, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Minutes for October 24th, 2024 are approved. Next item is minutes for November 21st, 2024. Directors in attendance were Mr. Almy and Mr. LaBelle. Mr. LaBelle, have you had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, I have. I have no comments.
Chair has no comments. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 21st, 2024.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle. The chair seconds. All in favor, Mr. LaBelle?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item are the minutes for December 19, 2024. Directors Almy and LaBelle were present. Mr. LaBelle, have you had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, I have. I have no comments.
Chair has no comments. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes December 19th, 2024.
The chair seconds the motion. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The next item is to go into executive session for two purposes. One, to review and approve prior executive meeting minutes. And the second is to discuss potential contract negotiations. Do I have a motion to adjourn the or to recess the Board of Public Works meeting?
Motion to recess the Board of Public Works meeting for executive session.
I have a motion to by Mr. LaBelle. Mr. Alves, do you second?
Second. Second.
Moved and approved to go into executive session. Okay, so that would put the directors and Mr. Barber in executive session. Everyone else should be in the waiting room. All right, we're back in our regular meeting for January 23rd, 2025. Two of our board members are present, Mr. Almy and Mr. LaBelle, so we do have a quorum. So we'll continue with our regular meeting. We just came out of an executive session in which we approved past executive session meeting minutes and discussed some issues associated with the contract negotiation for the Public Works Director. All right, so we're now into item A of old business.
Do we,
Tim, could you introduce this?
do we have to take a vote to reconvene? Yeah,
Did we do that, Ron?
No, we
did not formally.
We didn't.
Okay, so let's take I'll have a motion to reconvene the meeting.
Motion to reconvene open session.
Second by the chair. Motion by Mr. LaBelle, second by the chair. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So we're formally back into our open session. First item on the agenda is old business A, smart program, new cost. Tim?
so last meeting, we had Weston Sampson and the Abrahams group had presented two options that we decided on, narrowing down to two options of increases for the SMART program for solid waste and recycling. Little background, the rates have not increased since its inception in 2009. And although our goal is to keep our rates as low as we can for our residents, it's inevitable due to, inflation and the increases that we incur. Last meeting, the two options that we presented was, one was to only increase the annual fee for the program. And that increase would be every other year for the next 10 years, starting with a $30 increase in FY26. Our option number two was a smaller increase in FY26 for the annual program cost of $20, which would bring the cost of the program to $110 this coming year. And then possible increase of the bags in FY27 of on $1 and $2 for small and large bags respectively. What I recommend is, and I know we've had a lot of comments on the bags themselves, where either they rip or they don't hold heavy weight. But the bags are what drives this program, because it incentivizes recycling. So they'll basically, you pay as you throw. So the less you throw out in the bag, the less amount of bags you use, and the more you recycle. And this is proved to reduce the amount that we discard at Crapo Hill by 40%. So I would say option two for right now, I would recommend increasing the annual fee by $20 to $110, and then for FY27 we can look at possibly increasing the bags. If we decide at that point it's not the right time, we could also increase the annual fee, again, a nominal fee.
Tim, when was the existing bag fee established, and has it been changed over the years?
Nope, 2009, the bag fee was established, and it's been the same. Same thing with the annual fee was established in 2009, but it was actually higher. It was $90 initially, and then reduced the following year, and then it stayed at 80, and then increased to 90 again. All
right, Mr. LaBelle, do you have any comments or input?
Yeah, and Tim, you're recommending a $20, option 2 would be $20 in FY 26.
For the annual fee, yes.
And then in FY 27, what would be the increase to the bags?
So it would be, so we have small bags and large bags.
Yes.
It would be, $1 for a pack of, I think small bags and $2, increase on the large bags.
And why would we wait till FY 27 if we considered the bags?
That was just, it was one of the options. There was an option originally to increase the bags and the annual fee this year.
Mhm.
But I think with the discussions that we had, we felt, you know, the bags get a lot of comments from residents. You know, a lot of residents don't like using the bags, and it's basically, you know, I think the expense and the hassle of you buy 5 bags at a time. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that was just our concern, is not to ruffle too many feathers. I can, if you want, I can bring up the presentation graph showing the 2 options. If you'd like to take a look at it.
No, I'm just curious what your thought process was. I mean, I think
Yeah.
the bags are a great idea. I agree that it is an incentive because people are gonna say, well, I want to use less bags because they cost more. So I'm gonna recycle. And, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, don't recycle, or too many people don't recycle.
Right.
Um,
And
What would be your opinion?
well, I think increasing the bag fees is more of an incentive, you know, because you want to buy less bags, right? So
Yeah.
the cheaper they are, the more you'll use and not be concerned about it. But and we've looked at other towns, and other towns are charging, you know, somewhere $13 to $15 for a pack of 5 small bags, and you know, in the 20s for a pack of a large bags. We currently charge $5 for 5 small bags and $10 for 10 large bags.
So that would go from 5 to 6 for small bags.
Yeah, let me see that. Yeah. Yep.
And what would it be for the big bags?
10 to 12.
10 to 12. As you can tell, I don't use the big bags often.
I don't either. You know, I use the small bags mostly, and then, you know, usually around the holidays, I'll bust out the large bags.
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so would you like to make a motion on,
Before you make I just wanted to add that, and I know, Rob, you saw the email, that we did have one resident reach out via email and express his recommendation. It was to increase the bag fees because that's the only way to you know, promote the, you know, the recycling.
Yeah, well, I'm totally in favor of option 2, which is the bags.
Yeah.
I'm still questioning why we're gonna wait a year.
The way we alternated, so we set it up as option 2 was increase the annual fee this year, increase the bag fee next year, and then alternate every other year.
Okay.
With an alternating increase, and that graph followed where we were looking to keep our retained earnings.
Are you looking for a motion, Mr. Chairman?
please?
I would make a motion to accept option 2, increase the annual fee to $20 and the bag fee in FY 27 to $1 and, if I'm saying this right, and $2 for the large bags?
And would that be the increase, Tim, or would that be the per bag cost or?
That's the increase, but you know, I think at this point, we choose that option and we increase the annual fee, and I think next year we reevaluate, our revenues and expenditures, and, you know, we may have to adjust that.
So it doesn't
little
need
bit.
to be in the motion?
Correct.
Okay. Well, then my motion would be to increase the annual fee to $20 in FY 26.
So we're gonna increase the annual fee by $20. And what does the annual fee come to then, Tim?
$110.
$110 in the next fiscal year, with the understanding that this is based on presentations by the Abrams Group and Weston and Sampson that the board has evaluated, and that we anticipate next year considering an increase in the bag fee.
Yep.
Okay. I'll second Mr. LaBelle's motion. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Item A, old business A is approved. Old business B, Connect to Protect. Tim, do you have anything to add to this?
I sent along those kind of that flyer and document with outlining the program.
So we had a presentation by the Buzzards Bay Coalition in July, and at this board, and the select board has seen presentations on this program. The proposal is to assist certain landowners in the conversion of their existing septic systems to connections to the sewer in those areas where that connection is fairly straightforward, because the properties are in close relationship with existing sewers. Is that right, Tim?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So-
And then
Yep.
I circulated a set of findings. And I'd just like to read through them quickly if I could, so they're on the record. This is a set of draft findings for discussion that would support a reduction in the connection fees for residential properties through this program, in order to both show our support and to assist the Buzzards Bay Coalition in extending the financial means they have to connect as many properties as possible. So the draft findings would be protecting and improving water quality in coastal estuaries such as Apponeganset Bay is in the public interest and is a policy of the federal government and Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection has identified nitrogen as a problematic pollutant in Apponeganset Bay. 3, a significant number of residences within the Apponeganset watershed are served by septic systems and are also in proximity to existing sanitary sewer collection facilities. 4, through their work on Buttonwood Brook watershed, Buzzards Bay Coalition has identified replacing existing residential septic systems with service by the town's sanitary sewer system as the most cost-effective way to reduce existing sources of nitrogen to Apponeganset Bay, as documented in a presentation at the July 25th, 2024 Board of Public Works meeting. The Buzzards Bay Coalition has obtained funds which may be used to pay certain direct costs of replacing reliance on older residential septic systems with connection to existing sewer mains. The town of Dartmouth six, the town of Dartmouth Public Works Board sets certain fees, including connection fees for residential properties when they connect to the sanitary sewer. 7, certain residential properties are within the service area of the town of Dartmouth sewer collection system and have paid betterment fees to the town. Therefore, these properties may be connected to the sewer connection system so long as they meet certain construction standards using Board of Public Works approved contractors and pay a connection fee. 8, the Buzzards Bay Coalition and the Board of Public Works wish to encourage conversion of existing septic systems to connection to the existing sanitary sewer collection system. 9, currently the town has 2 programs to reduce costs for qualifying residents: the Fuel Assistance Program and the Solid Waste Smart Program Discount. And the proposed action is, therefore, in order to encourage conversion from septic systems to the sewer collection system, the Board of Public Works authorizes the Director of Public Works to reduce the sewer connection fee for residents who qualify for the Fuel Assistance Program or the Smart Program fee reduction, or both, and who are directly participating in the Buzzards Bay Coalition Connect to Protect program. Such fee reduction shall be $1,000. Okay, that is put out there for discussion by the board. Ron, do you have any comments?
Well, I read that update that you had sent out, and I don't disagree with any of it. You know, I'll go back to a comment I made when we first met with the Buzzards Bay group about doing this. I truly believe that the town, and I don't know if this would come under the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works or the Select Board, should change the charter. And wherever there is sewer available to any residents, that there should be a requirement to connect, especially when we can show, and in this case, it's you know, without any doubt, that there is damage to the environment from these septic systems. So I you know, again, I would take this a step further. I think making it, helping those people who would be, you know, in a difficult financial situation to afford doing it is something, you know, that, you know, the town should do everything they can to help. The Board of Public Works should do everything they can to help. But we shouldn't be leaving this up to the public. This should be something that's required.
All right. So with that, Tim, could you look into the process by which a requirement could be established, whether that's through charter or bylaw, and bring that discussion back to us? Because I think Ron has a really good point.
I can. So typically that, you know, that always resided with the Board of Health. And if they would mandate these connections, they have mandated connections in certain projects based on you know, findings of contamination due to failed septics, and so any projects that have been mandated in the past they have mandated the connections. But some of these are real old sewer systems that were, you know, installed in, you know, maybe 60s, 70s, where a lot of these houses remain on septic systems and never connected.
So the if I understand
Right.
correctly, the public health action mandating connection is only in the event of a demonstrated failure of the septic system. Is that right?
Not, yeah, well, so it's mandated, they can mandate it, based on that if they do have a sewer connection and they have a failure, but
Right.
they actually mandated, specific projects. So, so specific projects like the Lake Nokichoke, extension, when we extended the sewer, that was a mandated project by the Board of Health. So any connection, any services, or properties along that sewer, were mandated to connect within a certain amount of time.
I just want my thought process to be clear.
Yes,
If there's available sewer, residents should be required to tie in.
right. But that's not part of the charter or the bylaws currently, Tim. So could you please
Yeah, I'll look into it, yeah.
look into exactly how this board could initiate that?
Sure.
All right, and then back to the Connect to Protect program, which is, I guess, Ron, we could look at that as sort of an interim measure, if
Yep.
you will. What are your thoughts about adopting the findings and authorizing the director to reduce the connection fees?
I'm all in favor of that. I think any way that government can help residents to participate in this is applaudable. We should be doing something to help.
All right, and as a side note, the select board, I believe, has provided a direct grant to the Buzzards Bay Coalition for $40,000 to help them increase the number of connections that can go through this program. All right, so Ron, if you're in favor, I would entertain a motion to adopt the findings and approve the director to reduce connection fees under the conditions indicated in the draft findings.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so Mr. LaBelle moves approval of the findings and the approval of the authorizing director to reduce the fees of $1,000 as indicated as part of the draft findings. The chair will second. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes, Mr. LaBelle votes aye, chair votes aye. Tim, do you need anything else on us from us on this?
I do have, one question. So I did send along also the Smart Program Senior Discount application.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that. Yes.
Yeah. Do you recommend at all, tweaking that to, make it formally for this program?
I hesitate to add any bureaucratic activity to this for the residents. So what I anticipate is that some of these projects, the residents will already have applied for and been approved for either of those assistance programs, the fuel assistance or the SMART program. If they have not, and you could run them through the same process. But I think the idea is to keep this as simple and as straightforward as possible. I noticed that the criteria for the fuel assistance program and the SMART program, the application is similar and the criteria are similar.
Yeah.
So, and since the Public Works Department is familiar with the SMART program process, I think maybe that's the one that you would prefer to use, but I'll leave it to your discretion.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions on this item?
No. Mr. Chairman, I just gotta step out for about a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay, could we take a recess, please?
Motion to recess?
Motion to recess by Mr. LaBelle, Chair seconds. Mr. LaBelle?
Aye.
Chair, aye. Okay, we'll recess for, say, 10 minutes. It's 8:20. We'll come back at 8:30. Good morning. I'd like to reconvene the Dartmouth Board of Public Works meeting of January 23rd, 2025. We are on the regular agenda at item C. Present are a quorum of members. Roll call. Mr. LaBelle?
Here.
Mr. Almy, the chair, is present. Mr. Barber, would you care to take care of item C under old business?
The CWMP update. So we currently have a draft RFP that we're working on, some edits of. Once it's ready, I'll submit it to the board for review. Also, once we are kind of ready to advertise the RFP, we would like to set up a committee, a group to review proposals. And in that committee, we would like to include one board member. So if either of you would like to be on that committee to review the RFP for the CWMP.
Mr. Chairman, if it's all the same to you, I'd be happy to do that.
All right, that's fine. I think that's a really good idea. Tim, do you have any sense of when the scope of work will be available, or does that happen as a result of the RFP?
It is. So, the RFP does provide a requested scope of work. So, and then as part of the proposals, I would assume to see different scopes, as well, that we would review and comment on.
All right, so do you anticipate this being a qualifications-based request for a proposal?
Yes, thank you.
All right. All right, I am a little concerned about the lack of anything, any kind of a final report for the population projections. I know we've gotten some information, but do you think we have enough? If we were to hire a contractor, do we have enough information in hand, or what's the status of that?
I think, we would give whoever we choose the opportunity to, or even with the RFP, we can present what we have for our findings, and if they don't feel that it's enough, they can pursue it further.
All right. I'll withhold my comments until I see what's in that package.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on this, Tim?
Not currently.
Do you have any sense of when you'd be able to get started on this process? Or let me ask the question differently. Do you think you'll have something for us to look at our next meeting?
That's my goal, to have something for the next meeting. We're working through the budget process right now, so it's all hands on deck, and try to get through this, submit our budget CIP and our annual report, and then get back on this project.
All right. So at our next meeting, you hope to have a draft scope of work?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else on this?
That is it for now.
All right. Ron, any questions or any comments?
No, you asked the question I was going to ask.
All right. Next item is item D, Board of Public Works member structure. So we've had some conversations in the past, and I think there's interest in discussing whether the board should remain a 3-member board or should be increased, the number should be increased to make it a 5-member board. Tim, you looked into the process for this. Could you just quickly outline what that would take?
Yeah, so to change the structure of the Board of Public Works, this would require a town meeting approval. And then once approved by town meeting, it would be placed on a ballot at the annual town election to be voted on by the residents. So to get that on the town meeting, a warrant that an article would be required to be submitted by the Board of Public Works.
All right, and so this is basically a charter amendment.
Correct.
All right. We have a vacancy on this board as of February 1st. Monday night, the select board is likely to accept Mr. Alves' resignation. Do you know how many or what level of interest there has been shown in serving on this board?
I think the level is, I think we have 2 applicants currently.
All right, so we have actually a need, a demonstrated need, and an active recruitment, and we have two potential members. All right, so I think that's information for us as we discuss whether to go to a 5-member board. Ron, do you have any sense of how we should do this discussion?
Well, my first question, is it appropriate for existing board members to see those applications?
The select board will see those applications, is that right?
They will,
And
absolutely.
so that puts them in the public domain, so I think it would be perfectly appropriate.
Because I would like to see, I would appreciate seeing them.
Yeah, Tim, could you forward them to us?
I don't have them, but I did make a call yesterday to request them.
All right. Do you have any sense of when the select board might consider the candidates?
I do not at this time,
All
but
right,
I will follow up once they forward me the resumes.
all right.
It seems like it's quite the process to extend the board membership to 5.
Yeah, it's a charter amendment.
So this would take well over a year, if not longer. Right.
A
Tim,
good part
could
of a year, maybe not a full year, but
it's
I mean, it has
possible
to
that
be-
it could be on the fall town meeting. And then but it would have to be voted on subsequently in an election.
So I heard you right, that it needs to be placed on the ballot and the population votes for this,
yes,
Yes,
correct.
residents.
yes.
Yes,
That's quite the process.
it is quite the process.
Well, you know, I've spoken about this in the past. There are a number of things I'd like to sit down with the chairman and discuss, but I'm not allowed to because we're a quorum.
We have to discuss it right here.
Yes.
So,
And the ability, from my perspective, through all my years of working in this particular industry, bouncing things off of intelligent people is a mainstay, and
It is.
it's necessary.
It is.
And I'm not allowed to do it. So it handcuffs, proper, at least in my mind, a proper way to look at issues and develop, approaches to resolving them or moving forward. So
Sure.
I have a difficult time with a 3-member board. I think it's counterproductive. I think it behooves us to move this in that direction. For as much as it may be a difficult process, I'm fully in favor of doing it. And that's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, Tim, I've thought about this too, and I was a little skeptical at first, but I think I agree with Ron. If for no other reason than the ability to set up subcommittees to work with you on some of the technical issues and get them sorted out, I think that's probably the best reason to have a five-person board. So I think as a result of this discussion, if you could ask the town administrator or tell the town administrator that this board is interested in moving forward with an agenda item on our board to recommend an increase in our membership from 3 to 5. And if you could get back to us with something from the administrative group, and town council, I imagine, would be part of the process. And either come back to us with a more detailed discussion of how quickly this could happen, and or a draft warrant, possibly, because we do have time to put this on spring town meeting. I know you guys are really busy, but I think this is actually a pretty straightforward request, even though it may require a lot of process.
Right.
You know, so I think the wording of a warrant article is going to be pretty simple. So if you could get that ball started and bring it back to us.
Yeah,
And,
you
and
know,
also
we,
get, now, let me go back to some request that Ron made and that I agree with. Could you get us the resumes of the people who the select board will consider? And then I think as individuals, we are entitled to approach the town administrator or others and have an opinion about these people. But I don't think it would be appropriate to either delay the process or I'm not sure I would be comfortable choosing as a board a recommendation to the select board. Ron, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I am. I'm not even quite sure it would be appropriate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that opens up a Pandora's box.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right. So,
I definitely agree that this should not be delayed.
right.
And, you know, if we can work on something and bring it back to the board in February to be voted on, by the end of February to submit, we might be able to make Springtown meeting. If, you know, it doesn't get completed at our next scheduled meeting, we might want to hold a special meeting, to consider it, but yeah, let's work on it and try to get it moving.
All right. Thank you. Anything else on this item?
Not currently.
Hearing none, the next item is old business E, an update on the private hauler waste issue.
So, Mr. Chairman, you had requested kind of some research into where the private haulers are bringing their waste, and what they're doing with the waste, compared to what we're doing with our waste. You know, we're going to Crapo Hill. So, you know, I looked at a few of the haulers that haul in Massachusetts, especially in this area. And, you know, all waste is either buried in landfills or shipped out of state or incinerated. Some landfills convert methane to renewable natural gas, and either burn it for energy or use it to fuel compressed natural gas vehicles. Crapo Hill actually, you know, converts methane to renewable gas and burns it to create energy, and they actually produce 3.4 megawatts per day and sell it back to the grid. You know, Waste Connections, who also owns E.L. Harvey, they have transfer stations, landfills, and material recovery facilities, recycle facilities throughout the country and Canada. And any material that's collected curbside is hauled to some of their transfer station locations where they load it on long range vehicles to be shipped to these other sites. Wind Waste has a number of transfer stations and recycle facilities, and they also have a number of waste to energy facilities along the East Coast. And they have 2 landfills located in Ohio and Georgia, or 3 landfills, 2 in Ohio, 1 in Georgia. And materials hauled to their transfer stations, and depending on the transfer station, it's loaded onto long range freight, whether it's trucks or rail, which is the most efficient, and shipped out of state or to the final destination, which includes some of these waste energy facilities. Wind Waste has also begun using electric waste haulers that are charged at some of their waste energy facilities for efficiency. And then Waste Management as well. They haul materials to transfer station and then onto long range vehicles to final disposal sites. Waste Management actually uses compressed natural gas waste haulers that are fueled by the collection of the methane and converted to RNG from landfills to fuel these vehicles. So that's some of the ways and that the private haulers in this area are getting rid of solid waste.
So I guess, do you have any idea whether any of these private haulers are disposing of waste in the Crapo Hill landfill?
I don't. I believe that was cut off a couple of years ago when they were looking at running out of space in the near future and trying to conserve space. But when they did that, it was a reduction in revenue. So that's when they included Fall River, and they came into a contract with Fall River to dispose.
Okay.
Yeah.
That answers the questions I had regarding this item earlier. Ron, do you have any questions?
No, just out of curiosity, who's our representative on the board for the landfill?
On our board?
Yes. No, who from the town? Who represents us on the Crapo Hill board from the town?
That I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Because when you said that about Fall River, I'm curious why, if we have a landfill that is losing capacity, that we would be taking waste from Fall River.
Yeah, so because of the budget and the effect that it would have on basically us in New Bedford, they in their budget, they needed more revenue. They didn't want to open it up to private haulers again, so they opened it up to Fall River, but not their entire collection. So it's a limited amount of tonnage to make their budget work. So it's not it's a limit that they had set, and they entered into contracts with the city for that. Yeah.
Okay, I was surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Sounds a little counterproductive to me if it's a value issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to cost a lot of money to figure out a new way to dispose of all of this material once it closes, and at some point it will close.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trick is to extend that date as long as possible.
And it's frankly not worth budget money. You think of the cost of what it's going to be
Right.
to
And
recreate that capability.
Yeah, we have monthly meetings with the district.
Yep.
So I can get a little more information on that in our next meeting. Also,
Yeah,
our cost currently is around $25 per ton, where I think the industry average is somewhere in the, you know, the $220 to $250 per ton range, so.
Well, to Ron's point, if for any reason we can increase our fees in a way that meaningfully extends the life of the existing landfill, that's probably a really good idea.
Correct.
Particularly if we have relatively low disposal fees compared to the towns around us.
Absolutely.
So,
You know, and once you have to ship it, you know,
right.
interstate, you know, you know,
Well, you know,
the price is gonna go up.
yeah, the whole business is of transferring your waste problem to another area. You know, whether it's disposal or burning or whatever the method of the end method is, seems I don't know whether you want to call it unfair or unreasonable or, you know, I'm not big on my problems ending up in somebody else's backyard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we need to deal with it here.
And a lot of, you know, and especially Winways, you know, they've set up their transfer station locations along rail lines. So they can efficiently ship it, you know,
Yeah.
out of state.
Okay. So you'll get back to us with our representative.
Yes, and also, you know, we received our assessment this year. Our assessment is about $10,000 more than last year. So last year was $147,102. This year, our assessment is $157,814
All right. And
based on the budget.
the disposal fees we just approved are sufficient to cover that increase in cost?
Yes.
All right. You
And
know,
also, just to let you know, on our food waste program of diverting that food waste tonnage, December was our highest collection month yet, with just over 3,500 pounds of food waste collected, and with a total of 8.5 ton since its inception in June. So it's been a great program, and Black Earth is now collecting curbside in town.
all right. And they have a composting facility?
They do.
All right. And that's not one of the ones that causes the Department of Health heartburn?
No, it's well out of town.
Well, okay, somebody else, yeah,
I believe
again,
they're operating in Framingham, because
Okay.
the farm that they use currently.
okay, that's good. You know,
They have a
that's
couple, yeah.
That's actually to the extent that the compost is free of heavy metals and other things like PFAS, that's really the right way to do it.
Yeah, I think our residents are doing a great job of, you know, putting the right compost and waste into the bins, and we haven't had any issues so far. Been great.
Okay, I think it would be well worthwhile making an effort to publicize that success for a couple of reasons. One is so that people understand that what they're doing is beneficial, and the second reason is to try and get more people involved.
Yep, absolutely. And working with the district does put out flyers and public flyers on social media and the website. And yeah, we can add the success of the program as well.
Yeah, and I think it would be good to run short pieces on Dartmouth Cable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hesitate to make it sound like advertising, but you know, there's a lot of stuff on there that you could put short pieces in between on both the channel that broadcasts our meetings and the other channel that broadcasts other public events.
Absolutely. I'm sure they're taking notes right now.
I hope so. All right, next item is old business item F, the purchase and sales agreement with Pascomanset Land. Well, Tim, we've seen this before and it was, it's being brought back to us because there were corrections needed.
Yeah, so in June, the board executed an extension to the purchase and sales agreement with the Cornell Family Trust to purchase it's 195 acres along the Pascomanset River. That extension is set to expire January 31st. We've been in contact with council. So the Cornell Family Trust Council there were some title issues, which their council has been working on straightening out with the family trust in probate court. And they're pretty positive that they can have this figured out and ready to go sometime in February. But it wouldn't be in time for the extended PNS. So we've requested an extension and they agreed to it. The extension would be to till April, the end of April.
All right, so what do you need as a motion from us?
A motion on this. Grab the PNS here. Okay, a motion to extend the Pascomanset River land purchase to April 30th, 2025.
Do I have
I'll
a
make that motion as stipulated, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second Mr. LaBelle moves and the chair seconds the motion. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And Tim, you need a signature, right?
I do, yes.
Do you need one or several?
It shows all of us
There's-
on the document.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
all three are on there, but two would work.
All right. So we need to get in there in the next 8 days. All right. All right, so that brings us to the end of old business. New business, Tim. Approval of a new utility layer.
Yes, we have an application for a new utility layer, MJD Excavating out of Rehoboth. They've been operating in business for about 17 years. They have 4 foremen, and who have a combined experience of over 40 years. And they have an impressive list of municipal licenses and references from Somerset, Fall River, Attleboro, Framingham, Taunton, Dayton, Swansea, and Providence. So I recommend approval of this utility layer.
Do I have a
I'll make a
motion?
motion to approve the application for, is it MJD Excavating?
Yes, MJD.
Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Mr. Bell moves approval. The chair seconds. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. LaBelle votes aye. Chair votes aye. Item is approved. Next item is to an update of the recycling dividend program grant.
So I had thoughts of bringing this into the district discussion, but so we were awarded by Mass DEP for our recycling efforts and programs through FY24, $30,600 in RDP grant funds. These funds are to be used on recycling programs and activities that are eligible through the program. So this year, we are planning to use a portion of the funds to assist the school department in their recycling efforts to further reduce the waste disposed of at the landfill by assisting them with the purchase and installation of a cardboard compactor at their Potter Elementary School, which they don't currently have. And, you know, this past year, the district, we all worked, to assist the schools with providing them with, under desk recycling bins for their classrooms with labels on them as well. And the district worked hard to get those out to, along with Jen, to get those out to the schools and the classrooms to increase their recycling efforts. So,
That's good news. Do you want to, again, publicize that?
yes, we will. Yeah,
Okay.
once we have an agreement and, once everything's determined and decided upon, we will. Definitely.
Is there a match to this from the town, or is this just,
There's no match. Our match is to we put these programs in place, like the food waste
Great.
program gets us points, which gets us grant funds. So
Great.
all of these programs that we offer, you know, the more we offer, the more money we get. You know,
yeah,
they're pushing, you know, they heavily push other programs that are kind of like recycling or like a tool library or a repair center or a reuse center, you know, but that requires more staffing, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit more difficult.
yeah, I'm seeing the point spread back here up to that value.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Absolutely.
Right, and so how does it look for next year? Are we doing everything we need to maybe get another grant?
We are. Yeah, absolutely.
All
And,
right.
and like I said, every year they try to push a little more and they tweak it a little bit. So we, you know, we try to step up every year and get all the grant money we can.
I've said this before and I'll say it again, grants are simply a way of getting our tax dollars back into the community, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Goes out to the state over here and we get it over there.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle.
And
Yeah.
that goes for any grant that we can get. The
Yeah,
better we are at that, the lower we are basically lowering our local taxes.
Correct.
All right. So that's good news. So the next is committee updates. Mr. LaBelle, do you have anything?
I have nothing. I haven't heard anybody regarding you know, the tree. What the ladies were bringing before the board about the tree ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a tree committee and the tree
Yeah,
bylaw.
yeah,
I haven't either recently. So,
Yeah, you may need to reach out to them.
Yeah.
And, you know, to the extent that they have ideas for replacing street trees, there are some beautiful street trees in this town. Some of them are obviously older and maybe some smaller trees, anticipating the removal of the older trees would be a good idea.
yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, we recently had to take a few street trees down that were, you know, in poor condition and, you know, dropping branches and losing bark, and, you know, it happens every year in a lot of these old trees, you know.
yep.
Yeah, so I encourage the tree committee to work on funding and work with you, Tim, on replacing trees and really starting to get on top of it.
Yeah, and we're, you know, in moving with the FY26 operating budget, I'm looking at adding some money to a line item to include tree replacements.
Right. Right. It inevitably in the spring and in the fall, I spent a lot of time enjoying the trees in this town in their various conditions. Even now in a weather that my brother would call black sticks and gray skies, the trees are actually, you know, you get to see the infrastructure of the tree itself is kind of
You
fun
do?
to look
Absolutely.
at. Okay, I have some information from the Long-Term Capital Projects Committee. They have now a complete list of the various long-term priorities of the departments. And I'm hoping that they will come out with something that I can share with you after their next meeting. But it's been a pretty extensive set of discussions focusing primarily on schools and public works. And there's, I think, some real benefit for this group looking out 30 years and more at some of the things that need to happen with replacing buildings and other kinds of facilities. So I think this is a good effort by the town, and it's involved the town administrator and treasurer, collector, as well as select board members. So it's the right mix.
Yep.
All right, and then a little bit of background on this request we got from the state for access for water quality monitoring. I spoke to the contact for the program, and the short version is that what they're asking for is a one-time access for something called a determinative study that's statewide. And the sites that they're sampling, they're going to do a comprehensive sample at the site, but the sites themselves are selected randomly. And the idea being that it gives the state a statistically valid view of overall water quality in the state. We can argue the value of that, I suppose, but that's what they're doing, and it's a one-time access. They hope to start up in the next fiscal year a more comprehensive sampling program that will include the South Coast and Buzzards Bay. They're going to, it's going to be part of a multi-year cycle where they do the whole state. So they will come through and do the South Coast in some detail. It looks like they're talking about 50 to 60 sample points in flowing streams and rivers, and between 30 and 60 sample points in lakes and ponds. And the reason there are so many in lakes and ponds is there are a lot of lakes and ponds in this part of Massachusetts compared to flowing streams. In any event, Tim, I'll let you know how we can access the past data
Yeah.
in the
that'd be great.
context of having discussions about surface water monitoring in the town and trying to collaborate with the various types of monitoring programs that are going on. Right. That's
All right.
what I have for committee updates.
Okay.
So now the director's update, Tim?
Quick update on personnel. Our highway foreman, Stephen Donker, has retired after 38.5 years. It was kind of a trilogy of there were 3 CDL license retirees this year, all around 38 years in the DPW, which is a long run. They were all hired the same month, same year. So we're working, we're still working to find replacements for these. We're currently down about 6 HMEOs or CDL drivers and 1 SMEO operator.
And do we have active recruitments for both?
We had some applications, we just none, I don't think any with valid licensing.
And how about the notion of hiring and then encouraging people to get their CDL?
Yep. So we did have 1 candidate who was interested, and they actually, rather than come in as a laborer, they decided to work on pursuing their CDL license on their own, but they still haven't come forth with the license to us.
Have we
Um,
considered an incentive
We do,
to encourage,
we do.
you know, MEOs to get their CDLs?
We do. So we have, I think it's, I increased the budget a couple of years ago to provide incentive, we pay for the license, but we will also put up, I think it was, contribute $2,500 towards that class, or a little more than 2,500. But since with the lack of activity, I think right after we came up with that number, the cost of the classes went up. They went up to about 4,500.
Really?
Yeah. So I would be willing to entertain, paying for that whole class. We have $15,000 in that line item, which has barely been touched. So that would cover about 3 licenses. If we paid in full. So
Re-educate me, because I've been out of the business for a while, but to get the CDL, is it a requirement to have taken that class? Or is that just?
Yes, that's all changed, Mr. LaBelle. I changed
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, where
Okay.
they required to go to a driving
Verified.
school.
Okay. Because
It's
we used to just do
required.
it in-house.
Yeah, no, not no more.
to do it in-house, you have to be certified as well. I think Falmouth still does it in-house, but you would have to be certified to do it.
Is there anybody? I mean, it sounds like I know the answer to the question, but would it be worth our while to get someone certified?
We've discussed this, and I think it would be definitely worth our while.
Yeah.
It's not just a person saying you got to get the federal highway just to accept your paper, and it takes a while to get that accepted. There's a lot of
Yeah.
paperwork involved. It's not just about a person getting certified. You got to get the program acknowledged by the federal highway.
Okay. All right. I
And the
don't
thing
mean to
is, though,
belabor this.
you guys, the board discussed this before about the reimbursement. I think there's a specific in the contract, Timmy, and a percentage that we could reimburse up to.
Yeah.
I think it's like 80%. That's why we went with that amount, but we could increase it now with the new cost and keep it at the percentage. We can't, the contract don't allow us to do a full reimbursement, but we could give them a more to the program.
Because of the percentage.
We've
the
had
percentage
that though.
increase.
Yeah, we've had that, 2-3 years now, Timmy. We have one interest candidate just wrapping up, again, as a license.
Yes.
Nobody else is interested. Not even out there in the street. They're all interested of the dollar amount that they're starting at. Until something's done by reclassification or town hall to adjust it accordingly, we're not going to get, with far few candidates are going to accept our positions. Even with mechanic, I'm down to master mechanic, the SME, the heavy equipment operator. There's just where the way the structure was changed with McGinnis is just they went from a 7-step to a 10, and these guys we're not too far off of their starting and their ending salary, the high end, but it's the steps. When you look, these guys are looking at 10 years to get the high end. It's just not. Well, the communities are 5 or 7. A lot of them are 5-step programs, and we're just not attractive.
So
He
do
knows
I
that. He
understand,
knows that.
do I understand we're going to have contract negotiations this year?
Yes, we are. We'll be coming in July 1st to be new contractor. The existing current contract will expire July 1st.
All right,
Not that
so,
they'll have a new contract by then, but
Yeah,
the
so
old
you're gonna-
contract will expire.
all right, so we're starting the negotiations. We know that the last time this happened, there were some problems that crept into how the classifications were done. We know that the guys in the field have some concerns. I think it's absolutely essential for the shop stewards who are going to be involved in the negotiations to have a list of suggestions to make things work better, because it affects not just the guys in the field who are part of the contract, but it affects management and services to the town. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The shop stewards need to be clear on what it takes to help us with the recruitment and keeping a fair compensation of all of the people they represent compared to the towns around and the cost of living here. All right. And unless we can do that, we're going to continue to have problems with recruiting. This is the time to fix this.
Yeah. And then when you're trying to recruit experienced licensed candidates, you know, it's a big process to try to bring in anybody at a higher step than a one, based on wording that was placed into the agreement, that, you know, all union employees must start at the step one. So, you know, a memorandum of agreement must be drawn up by the Labor Council and HR, reviewed and approved by the select board and by the union.
Yeah.
If that, you know, if that
but
language were
when
to
you
change,
Look,
Then-
I don't want to get into this any more than just saying we have had these discussions over the last 3 years. Everybody knows what the problems are. It's the time for the Public Works team to sit down and tell their members who are going to be at the table what is needed to fix this stuff. And so
Exactly.
I'm going
Okay,
to,
what I'm trying to say is, you were saying that them, they specifically told the prior administration, and when you got somebody that says, take it or leave it, and it starts at the top, and it has to start at town hall.
you've got a
I'm
new,
that tied from town hall. We can't
Paul,
make a decision.
Paul, you got a new town administrator coming in. That new town administrator is going to come in and they're going to hear things that will help them shape their attitude of what needs to get done, what's important. So if the Public Works Department is unified in what needs to be done, top to bottom, including the board, and town hall asks us, okay, here's where we are. What do you think? And we tell everybody says the same thing, then that is going to carry weight. And I don't care what's happened in the past, except to understand what needs to be fixed, period.
I hope this new administrator is better, because all board members sitting right here will live by the fire. You know how you've dealt with them, prior administrator. I hope the new administrator is somebody that realizes what we've gone through, because every member that I'm looking at right now, this meeting, has dealt with the prior administrator about personnel and get lied to. And look where we are, still in the same boat.
Yeah, well, let's get
out of the boat.
You have an opportunity, a one-time opportunity. There's an old expression, you get one chance to make an impression. Take that and apply it to the new town administrator. The new town administrator is going to come in and ask questions about, okay, where are we? What needs to get done?
We hope.
The public
hope.
works,
We hope.
it's
That's all
on
I
us.
say. We hope.
Paul,
This is not a matter of hope. We got to stop hoping for this stuff. We got to tell them, okay? This is like the Nike advertisement. Just do it.
Yeah.
Okay, period. It needs to happen. It's up to us, the people who are in this meeting, and our ability to talk to the rest of the Public Works team as a team that provides public service to this town, and tell the town administration, we have some issues. This is how we think they are. These are the problems they cause, and here's how to fix them. Okay? And keep it as straightforward as you can. You don't have to talk about any of the history except to say it happened, it caused problems, this is how to fix it. The history, I'm going to tell you something I tell my kids. There is a reason that the windshield of a car is bigger than the rear view mirror. Okay, let's look ahead. Tell them where we need to go. Tell them how we get there. Okay, please. So Tim, you're the department head. This is on you to put that message together with the team.
Oh,
Sit down with
absolutely.
everybody you need to. And frankly, a lot of this is on the shop stewards when they're sitting at the table. But the rest of the team, including us, Tim, including the board, needs to understand what the message is. Okay?
Absolutely.
And I'll shut up and stop my lecture now. Okay?
Mhm.
Enough is enough. Ron?
No,
What do you
I
think?
mean, simply put, help them help us.
Yep.
Exactly.
Spell it
Right.
out.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I bet there's one of your board members who shall remain unnamed, who's had a lot more experience with difficult bureaucracies than the rest of us. All right. And so all I'll say is let's just do it, guys. Come on. We're one team. All right. All right. Tim, anything else?
Moving forward, you know that our associate engineer, Dan Giosa, has taken the planning director position at Town Hall.
Okay.
So we have two vacant associate engineer positions. So we're actively looking. We have, you know, it's posted on the website and Indeed on Bay State Roads. So it's posted in various locations. We haven't had much activity on candidates.
Do you have a workload problem?
Seasonably, this is our slower season for the engineers for inspections and construction, and with the temperatures being as they are, it's slowed down a lot. But this is a time where we're working on annual reports. We're working on designs for next upcoming construction season. So, you know, that all kind of lacks when you're short personnel.
All right. So if you think you need an outside hire under contract, bring that back to us. Don't wait until you got big problems.
Nope, no, we're looking at interviewing somebody on Friday, tomorrow.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it'd be really nice if these people were poised to become licensed engineers.
It would. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And if you need to offer them a bonus, get them on board. Let's talk.
All right.
All right.
And
Anything else on personnel?
Yeah, so another shock is our administrative clerk, Sonia, has taken the payroll administrator position at Town Hall. So she will be leaving us at the first week of February. So we're working on that position as well.
All right. Anything else?
That's a big loss. You know, that position handles all our chapter
Mhm.
90, our budget, our articles. It's a big position. So
A lot of
You know why
institutional
that's a big
knowledge.
loss? Because that's one of the that was one of the positions
Yeah.
that was so messed up during the last reclassification that she just couldn't do it and got a better offer moving on. Her not being there is going to be a big loss for us because, like Tim said, it's just going to. I work so close with Sonia with the funding that made Timmy's job easy. Just looking in, she was always right on top. Besides the other daily activities with personnel and all that, and that's one of the positions though that were messed up, was never corrected no matter what was said. So
yep,
All right, put it on the list.
yes,
Let's get this stuff fixed.
Yep.
And before we move off personnel, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You've got 3 people with 35 years plus experience that are retiring.
yep. 2 retired. Oh, they've all retired. The last one retired
anyways,
beginning of January. Yep.
All right, so can you organize something to get together and celebrate their service?
So we are, working on something at Town Hall at the Select Board.
All right, and you know, some kind of maybe a reception at Public Works or something. I mean, you know, 35 plus years is a big deal.
Yeah.
I think we need to recognize it, and if you could tell us when that's going to happen, so we have the opportunity to attend.
Yes, absolutely. I'll keep you updated.
All right. Okay, next, Tim, you have budget and CIP.
All right, you know, the department's been working hard on the FY26 budget and CIP. You know, we received an email with new guidelines and new forms, requesting a 10-year CIP and some, a lot more narrative and information, for our operational budgets. We received that on December 19th with a deadline of January 17th. We're about a week late with approval from the Director of Finance, you know, as we are a pretty large department. So I want to thank all of our department heads and staff that have been stepped up in expediting the task of updating our operating budget and our capital improvement plans. You know, although we're a week late, you know, I'll be working on my presentation and to CIP, you know, and trying to present that at the next board meeting.
Okay, and this is the change in the formatting and reporting was driven by the which committee was it, Tim?
Finance Committee.
Finance Committee. Okay, this is something they requested townwide.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is once you get this done, does this make it easier next year? I mean,
It does, because we already have you know, once you have a good list of a 10-year plan, it's similar to our 5-year plan, you know, we're bumping that over and adding new capital. But, you know, to get out to that 10-year timeline, you know, for, you know, it's one thing if you're looking at a long-term capital plan with concept projects, but, you know, you're looking at, you know, actual purchases of equipment, vehicles, and then project with estimated costs, you know, out 10 years. It's tough.
right, but once you got the format set up and you've kind of got it done, then
You follow that format the next year. Yeah.
yeah, and you can just adjust certain
Yeah.
numbers as you move along, as inflation
Correct.
goes up or whatever happens.
Right,
Okay,
and next year, I don't expect much change on it since it just changed this year. So, you know, if we start it early, following the same format, there shouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we want to keep
Also, I didn't, under personnel, mention that, you know, we're hiring a new water pollution control operator, which we had a vacancy for, starting, I think, right first week of February.
all right.
Yep.
Okay, good.
So with licenses, and a college degree and.
Oh, excellent. And does this bring them up to full employment finally? Fully
I
staffing?
think water pollution control will still have one vacancy.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Just one
Other
quick
than-
question, Tim.
Yes.
Do
yes.
we get to see this? But when do we get to see this budget and CIP?
So Sonia will be putting together the full package for the board.
Yep.
The hard copies for the board. And then I will also present my presentation, for the CIP to the board
Okay.
as well.
All right. You think that's next month?
You should be getting the full packages, probably within a couple weeks.
Okay.
And then the presentation, I'm looking at the next meeting in February.
All right.
But hopefully we get our books, Timmy, before Sonia leaves, or I'm gonna go track her down.
Right? Oh, we know where she's going.
Yeah.
I know where she's going.
Also, you know, I've been asked to speak at Diamond Vogue, over the next couple of weeks to some of the students interested in the construction field regarding municipal employment and want to bring up a lot of the licenses and the incentives to get those licenses and to reach out with possible internship or seasonal programs with the town that some of the students might be involved in or
That's a good thing.
eligible for.
Yeah, that's a really good thing, Tim. Sell hard.
Absolutely.
I know that interns take work, but interns also can turn into really valuable employees.
Absolutely.
And just being there and working on their understanding of public service and the benefits of, working in the town you live in, I think is a good thing to do. And the VOC is definitely the right place to do it.
Yeah, and we had a great intern this past year, and I think you both met him, and he was very motivated. He's going to college now, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, because you've got a lot of different things that you could internship with.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, anything else, Tim?
I just wanted to say, when I call them unseasonably cold temperatures, but it's really seasonably. We just haven't seen these cold temperatures in a while. Our crews have been out there, working outside, whether it's on the back of a solid waste truck and recycling, transfer station, construction, our fleet guys, water, wastewater. They've all been working hard in these real cold temperatures. So I want to give them some props. And we've had a couple water main breaks and service breaks in these cold temperatures. So they've been working hard and getting this, getting these repairs done and getting the work done.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be at the select board on Monday, you might suggest to them that we had a discussion of the service and particularly under different conditions. And I know I personally deeply appreciate the work they do. Even later in my career, there were times when I was working outdoors in the extreme cold. I ran across a photograph of me working up in New Hampshire a few years ago and reminded me of, you got the job done and whatever the conditions. So I deeply appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Okay, anything else? Ron, anything?
No, just to parrot what everyone just said.
Okay.
Public Works guys are definitely underappreciated, and a lot of what they do is taken for granted. And I'll be the first to raise their flag.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. They, I don't know how to characterize them. Most of them are pretty tough. I mean, and not tough in a bad way, just able to focus and get things done, whatever it takes. So, all right. If there are no other items, do we have any members of the public who wish to address the board? I don't see anything. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. LaBelle to adjourn. The chair seconds. Mr. LaBelle, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending. And Tim,
Thank you, everyone.
we'll look forward to some information materials and we'll meet next month. Thank you.
Thank you.